Hey guys, Japanese Import here. In my 7 years time playing League of Legends, I have been every rank from Silver to Challenger. Throughout my climb, there were some key concepts about jungle that I was completely ignorant of until I hit the higher ranks nearly 2 seasons after I started playing, and I wish I would have learned them a lot sooner. It definitely would have made my life a ton easier. So this video is here to compile together the top 3 things that I wish I had known a long time ago. Learn from my painful experiences so that you don't have to lose tons of games over these mistakes. Let's get started. The first thing I wish I knew was how to cover waves. Most junglers have no idea how to correctly do this. A lot at least have some knowledge but lack the much bigger picture. At best they have a surface level understanding, and it costs them massive advantages that they otherwise should have. As a jungler, you need to make sure to do everything in your power to influence your lanes positively. To do this, we have to move our camera towards lanes because we need to understand the wave state to know what to do. And that's why we're showing you the top lane here. Laners' lane states are absolutely necessary to understand. We need to know if the lane is frozen, pushing, or neutral. Keeping this in mind, if you were Lilia after this gank here, what would you do? With a successful gank onto the Graves, the first thing you should think about is what to do with the minion wave. Most junglers know the basics. Shove the wave to secure your teammates a quick base timing so they can get straight back to lane after shopping. A more advanced concept would be to let Camille freeze her wave if she was healthy enough and didn't need to buy. We're not going to focus on this too much right now since this isn't the part most people get wrong. There's another level to this which we see nearly every jungler we watch screw up, but we'll get to that in a bit. Once the wave crashes, Lilia has done a good job securing a lead for her top laner, but we still have an entire rest of the game to play. Is there something that sticks out here that Lilia should do? The real mistake that people make after this is not continuing to pay attention to laners' lane states once their gank is over. When Camille recalls, Lilia's job is to still manage the wave if she has to, even though she's not the laner. Camille makes a great TP to bot lane, essentially doing your job for you and ganking bot. During this entire time, Lilia also recalls, leaving top tower completely unguarded and giving Graves a significant amount of golden XP for free. Covering the next few waves top while Camille is in bot is also in your best interest, as it's just a lot of resources that are going to complete waste otherwise. Because of this, Ahri shifts up to cover top wave, which makes a fair amount of sense. Knowing what we know now, what's the play here? If you said that Lilia should now cover mid lane, you'd be correct. If you watch this play out, Echo shoves mid and gets another plate for free, as well as crashing a wave that goes to complete waste. The XP and gold flush down a toilet. Notice how Lilia made the same mistake twice in about the span of 2 minutes, costing her team gold and XP from several waves and 2 plates. It's extremely important to think if you should cover lanes for your laners. If you don't, you just miss out on free gold and allow the enemy team to get plates for no reason. Pay close attention to when your teammates leave their lanes or die and see if you can go tax or fix waves. Most junglers from our research group have voiced frustrations about their laners roaming, but to me, that's just gold in my pocket. Laners get much more resources than junglers, so you should be happy to take a staycation in their lane for a bit while they switch jobs with you. If your top laner TP's bot and you're topside, then you might be the top laner for a bit, and that's okay. If your mid laner roams, you could join their play and sacrifice the mid wave, but if you're too far away to get to the play, you might as well just take the wave. It's situational, but the takeaway here is to be conscious of your decisions and think about the best way to get an overall lead across the map. The one thing you probably shouldn't be doing almost always is just farming your camps and watching minions die while your laners jungle for you. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, a sub to the channel would be incredible. Let's jump into the second thing I wish I knew a long time ago, how to hover dives correctly. In this game, we're following Kha'Zix, a Grandmaster jungle main. Just like last clip, he should be moving his camera to top to watch this lane while he does Gromp. Keep in mind that this game is in high elo, so we should expect that level of awareness from this jungler. If you're Kha'Zix right now, what should you do? In the eyes of an Iron jungler, this is a juicy kill on Renekton. But looking at this lane, it's pretty obvious that you shouldn't really gank this. Renekton probably can just 2v1 and one-shot the Camille if she goes in and deal with the level 3 Kha'Zix by fighting in his minion wave. However, think about what Camille needs to do in order to not fall super far behind. To most players, this would be a lane to ignore because it isn't gankable, but that's also incorrect. If you're paying attention as a jungler and notice Renekton start to push this wave, you should recognize that Camille is going to want to CS under her tower, and Renekton is going to try and stop that by diving her. Most people are taught to gank lanes that will result in a kill, but relieving pressure off of lanes like this in the early game would allow Camille to scale and eventually beat Renekton in the 1v1 later. If you see a lane that is ungankable, don't write it off as if you shouldn't go there. We should definitely just use a little bit of time while the wave crashes to make sure Camille can safely catch it and then recall. Think about what your lanes need to do in their lane to win, and try to assist them in any way possible. If you've ever played a laning role, you know that when you get tower dove with a big wave pushing into your tower, you're totally removed from the game. You can't come back, you're totally at the mercy of your teammates winning the game for you 4v5. In competitive, you might hear someone ask for their jungler to hover them, and this is basically what it means. They don't need a gank, they just need someone to punish the potential dive coming in. Our very own Sam kills the Camille with ease. However, he should have been punished by the enemy jungler. Kha'Zix easily could have walked towards top and even taken some of the CS for himself, stopping the dive top and letting Camille secure some XP for herself before she TVs back. Instead, he takes wolves and isn't in any position to actually assist his top laner. Covering dives and hovering your lanes is something that doesn't come naturally to most junglers. You probably just wanted to full clear down here, but fight that urge and use a little bit of your time to make your laners' lives easier, even if your immediate reward isn't great. Your life will be a lot easier in the long run if your lanes are even, opening up chances to invade, take neutral objectives, and more. Before we jump into the last one, you should know where our guides come from. Our hyper improvement platform Skill-Capped is the #1 place to actually start improving at League of Legends. You can input your rank before signing up to see where we'll think you'll climb. Then, if you don't hit that rank while actively using Skill-Capped, you can claim a full refund. That's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. We offer this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't, then you shouldn't pay for it. Check us out right after this. Finally, the last point we wanted to discuss is the concept of trading objectives. In a plat game, Fiddle walks towards bot lane to try and get a gank off, but his bot lane dies before he can get there due to the enemy mid roaming down. He covers the tower and takes the CS. What would you do here now? Hold on to that thought and let's watch how this plays out. In hindsight, it's really obvious that this turned out horribly. However, we could have known that from the start. Most players have the tendency to still want to contest objectives even from a bad position. Two teammates dead and in base with absolutely no vision is obviously not a great spot to be if you want to try for a dragon contest here. We don't want to try and steal, we don't even want to go try to get wards to see what's happening. We simply just shouldn't care at all because the play is so low probability it will almost never work. The dragon is happening and it's inevitable. It's important to identify this and recognize when to give things up. The game isn't doomed yet. In a game state where everything is still pretty even, you don't need to feel like you have to make hero plays to come back, but we see it so often. If you just played to trade, you could get advantages at a much higher percentage and win without the risk of inting horribly. Because the enemy mid moved down, Set can just hit tower for free. It's not like we're not getting something on the map for the roam. Your bot lane might have gotten punished, but we're punishing back with mid plating. It's okay to trade things in this position. Don't try to force your way in and contest plays that are bad. You're just going to give up the dragon anyways and lose some team members in the process. We could have easily just walked the long way around, looked for a potential rift mid, or just cleared our camps up. We can at least get pacing on our clear for the enemy team spending their time to do dragon. Look for their topside camps if you're in a position. Look for a top dive, get a lead somewhere else so that when the next dragon comes around, you're actually in a spot to fight it. The same concept can be applied for later in the game when Dragon and Baron are both up. If you can't fight the enemy at Baron, at least trade back the Dragon so they don't get both. Don't just int into them and try to stop it when you clearly can't. When things go poorly, don't dig your hole deeper. Look for a solution that involves a play somewhere else on the map. It's okay to take a small deficit to survive to come back in a later play. Players tend to tunnel extremely hard on the objective that the enemy team is doing, without thinking about what else they can get on the map. Most players feel that losing any objective is unacceptable, when in reality, pro games are all about both teams trading things continually until the small advantages add up over time. There's been plenty of LCK games where there were no kills, yet one team was clearly ahead of the other. Obviously, there are games where it's okay to fight over objectives, but you'll never see good teams do it when it's obviously bad for them. We can't count the number of times that players do this. It literally happens in almost every Smurf game our challengers and skill-capped play. Doing the more consistent positive play is how Smurfs can carry almost every game and elos lower than Masters. These were the top 3 jungle concepts that I wish someone had taught me a long time ago. They're mostly unconventional and things that most people just don't think about, but their impact is huge. We hope you learned something from this video, and if you have a topic you feel like we missed, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and until next time.